Hello, good to see you. Mike,
Hi, audience. Hi, Heather.
I am impressed. Wow, look at you. I like this new setup.
Well, after the fiasco with last week's show, I shelled out more money to get a better router, and it was very hectic trying to get it working before the show. But am I looking good from your end, Heather?
You are. I'm really impressed. You're looking really well lit. Your background looks amazing. I love the microphone. Like, I'm just totally digging this.
Thanks. To be honest, I'm kind of bothered by the doors on the side. I can see there's a lot of light coming from there, and it's kind of distracting, but there's nothing I can do about it on short notice.
Yeah, we'll think of something later.
I could point the camera this way.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. Does that look better?
Yeah, you don't see all that light coming in.
Good.
Cool.
Okay.
So everybody is here and everybody is saying hi. We got
Hi.
we have Long Live the Wizard from Craft Strategies Live. Hell Mag is saying hi, Richie saying hi, Shimmering saying hi. So we got a lot of people saying hi in here.
Hi, everybody. How am I looking to you guys, or both of us, in terms of resolution? Like, am I breaking up? Do I look bad like last week's show?
Yeah, you're like from this end, you're looking really good. So oh, I'm sorry, it's Hell Mage, not Mag. I screwed up someone's name. So I heard that you went to the Las Vegas Strip yesterday.
Yes. For those who don't know, Las Vegas opened their casinos at 12:01 a.m. yesterday, and I went down to the Strip starting around 3 p.m.
So what happened? What was it like?
It was much quieter than I thought it would be. I was kind of expecting, wow, everybody is going to head to the Strip the first open day in 2 months, 2.5 months. But it was pretty quiet. Now, granted, I went there at a quiet time. I started at the Treasure Island because I love parking there, and so I started at the Treasure Island. And by the time it was all said and done, I probably went back home around 8. And yeah, things were busy. Things got busier the longer I was there. But I think, who wants to come to Vegas when it's 107? I mean, go to the casino when it's 107 degrees outside. But,
Well, I would imagine people are making a beeline for the casinos when it's 107 degrees outside. Who wants to be outside when it's that hot?
that's a good point. But I don't know. I tend to think that when it's really hot outside, people are just kind of lethargic and don't want to do anything. So, but anyway, aside from things being a little slow, it was much like it was 2 days before the shutdown of the casinos. It was strictly, I would say, every other machine was turned off, sometimes more, except if it was like one of those circular stations of of slot machines. Those could all be on. And with table games like blackjack size, it was 3 players. And roulette, I believe roulette and poker were 4. Not that I saw any poker. And craps was 6.
Okay. Okay. And what's the vibe you're getting from the players?
I only played some Pai Gow Tiles by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I didn't ask anybody about it. There wasn't a whole lot of gambling going on. I think there were a lot of looky-loos like me.
So you feel like people were more cautious and less, gaming like normal?
Yeah, I mean, you saw some tables with only 1 player, and there were a lot of dealers just standing dead. But yeah, I think with it being the first day back, people might, I don't know. like I said, it's probably just a lot of curious people like me that just wanted to feel it out a little bit.
Okay. Do you think that this weekend is going to be much busier then? Since it is the weekend.
I know, like a lot of the stores were closed, but they had signs saying that they would open, I think, today.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Harrah's open today. So, yeah, I predict that this weekend will be a lot busier. And a lot of the hotels are open to 50% capacity. And I think that the MGM Mirage Company decided to open the MGM very recently, I guess, based upon room bookings. So
Okay. Do you
I've
know?
been maybe go downtown this weekend to get a feel for how it's going there, and yeah, see if things pick up.
Okay. Have you heard anything about the hotel occupancy rate? Do you know what percentage it is?
I think, yeah, I don't, to be perfectly honest with you. I do think that they opened up the MGM Grand because the Bellagio and the New York filled up their 50%, but I'm not sure. But when I was at the Wynn, they were telling me like how cheap their prices were, and they were saying, "Oh, they asked me where I was from, and I said I'm local, and they said, "Oh, it's a great time to do a staycation. Our rates have never been so cheap." So, yeah,
Are you going to take them up on it?
probably not.
So, was the smoking like normal, or did they go non-smoking? We had a couple people in the chat asking about it, and some people in the forum asking about it. So,
I asked at the Wynn if they allowed smoking, and they said that they did. And I didn't ask anywhere else, and I didn't notice anyone smoking, but I wasn't also specifically checking for that. But
okay.
It would sure be nice if they prohibited it, but
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever do that.
yeah.
So, did you notice that at the tables, the minimum denomination for blackjack was higher than normal, so that way they can support such a low amount of players?
No, it seemed to be about the same.
Okay.
Yeah, all the gaming rules seem to be more or less the same as far as I could tell. But like I said, the number of tables open was not very high. Like at the Wynn, I would say that only one table in three was open. And even most of those tables, nobody was playing. So, but I think it's going to take the weekend to really break things back in.
Yeah, probably. We have a question from Gabs22 from the forum. And he said, regarding playing condition, do fewer players being allowed at table games my apologies. Due to fewer players being allowed at table games, have you noticed different playing conditions, i.e., are they catering towards bringing players back with better rules, lower minimums, which we just talked about a little bit, or are they making up the lower capacity by increasing the minimums, offering worse rules like maybe 6 to 5 at higher minimums, etc.? What is the difference for the rules, the minimums, and the consistency with the norms before the shutdown?
Yeah, as I was saying before the question, I thought the rules and the minimums looked to be about the same as they were on a normal Thursday. So.
And you didn't notice any change with the rules or anything like that? Everything looked pretty much the same as before the shutdown?
Yeah, the only game I actually played was Pai Gow Tiles at the Wynn, and I was only the second player to play, they told me, since they reopened. And when I sat down, they said, you can't touch anything. You can't touch the tiles. You can't touch the dice shaker. We will turn over everything for you, and we will arrange your tiles by the house way. But if you don't like it, you can ask us and we'll switch it. And so I played this way for about an hour. And then a floorman came over out of nowhere and said, we have a new policy. You can play the old way. You can touch the tiles and touch the shaker. So after that, it was just like it was before. But when there was a dealer change, the new dealer wiped down the shaker and other things that the dealer might touch.
Mm-hmm.
So otherwise, it was pretty much the same.
Okay, cool.
My dog wants to go out, but let the audience say hi to him before I do.
Sounds good.
This is
Hi. Hi,
Hi, Heather.
Oliver. Thank God Pip isn't around, otherwise she would be barking like crazy.
Yeah, you're looking good, by the way, Heather.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You too. I'm really liking this a lot. Are you going to keep it?
Well, everyone's asking me, and I've been saying I'm going to keep this until things get back to normal. And then the next question is, how are you defining normal? And I haven't put a great deal of thought into it, but I think that when people stop wearing masks, that's when I will consider getting rid of the beard. But
Okay.
I've had one before, and I might just let things really grow long, like a hillbilly, just for a change.
I got my uncle a shirt that has levels going all the way down, and each level your beard hits. That's what you are. So it had a pirate, it had a hillbilly, it had a sea captain, it had a wizard. It was so awesome. I'm going to get you that shirt.
What is the next level I might hit?
Oh, goodness. I don't remember. I'm just happy I remembered what I said. It was a lot of them.
Somebody told me that I should get a banjo, and I'm really tempted to.
That'd be pretty cool. Do you know how to play it?
No, I don't, but I can play the guitar, so I'm hoping that it won't be too difficult to pick up a banjo.
There you go. Now, we have a question from the forum, and I'm going to totally butcher this name. Odious Gambit, I believe.
That's right.
Oh, thank goodness. Have you ever picked wild mushrooms, berries, or have done any kind of foraging? And this is a good question because you have, done so many hikes out in nature, and it's a day-long hikes. So that's a really good question. Have you?
The only foraging I've done was picking blackberries. And when I lived in Baltimore, I lived on the edge of town, and there were some train tracks. And at the right time of year, it was easy to go picking blackberries, and you could get plenty of them. And likewise, when I was a kid, we would go to Seattle a lot, and blackberries grew really well there. So I don't have to count as foraging, but yeah, blackberries, I picked lots of those. But beyond that, in terms of like going camping and for purposes of survival, I don't think so. And one reason I would be hesitant to is that you have to know what's safe and what's not. And lots of times a deadly poisonous berry can look just like a perfectly fine one. And it might not hit you for a day later. So, and given that I really have no idea about poisonous from edible plants, it's just something I stay away from.
Do you know about poison ivy, so you could stay away from that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of poison ivy on hikes and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I think I may not be allergic to poison ivy and poison oak because I've trampled through areas that had a lot of poison ivy and never had any trouble. And one time when I lived in Santa Barbara, there was a big wildfire, and it burned area that was infested with poison oak. And a lot of people came down with skin rashes because there was all this poison oak smoke in the air. But I was perfectly fine.
I'm glad you were okay. That sounds horrible. Jesus.
Some people were just rubbing cream all over their bodies. They were so sensitive to it.
Oh, man. Well, getting back onto topic. So have you noticed on the Strip or even in Las Vegas, are all of the casinos opening or only partially opening? So are some casinos still closed and some open? Like what's going on?
Yeah. Yesterday, the casinos on the Strip that were open, I believe I can confirm the Wynn, the Palazzo, the Venetian, the Flamingo, the Bellagio, and Treasure Island. And anything in that range from Flamingo to Spring Mountain was closed. For example, Harrah's was closed, the Mirage was closed. It looked to me like Paris and Bally's were closed. Downtown, I think 6 places are open right now. Most of the locals places are open. And yeah, that's about all I know.
So do you still see all of the performance artists down there, either on Fremont Street or on the Strip, the people who dressed up in the costumes, the showgirls? Are they all down there, or is it pretty quiet when you walk down the street?
Yeah, I haven't been downtown yet, but I did not see a single street performer. I did go to the Link area, and I was totally dead because I don't think the high roller is working. And
so they didn't turn the high roller on.
I don't think so, because like that whole area you could go there, but it was completely empty. And yeah, I didn't see anything like that. But I'm probably going to go downtown this weekend, so we can talk about that next week.
Cool.
And yeah, and not that anyone asked, but I would say about half the casino restaurants were open.
Okay.
And only like most stores were still closed, like those fancy shops in the entrance to the Wynn. I would say only 1 store in 3 was open.
Okay.
And lots of them had signs that said that we will be open. I think either opening today or opening tomorrow.
Okay. So it might have just been like a little too early.
It might have been the rioting that, there's all these fancy Louis Vuitton stores and stuff like that, and that got cleaned out in Beverly Hills. So if I ran one of those stores, I would be hesitant to open at this, right now anyway.
Well, a lot of the protesters, like, they're not violent, so.
Oh, I agree. I think that a looter is completely different from a protester, and the looters are just taking advantage of the protests.
Yeah. I
So,
think so.
but nonetheless, looting is still going on, and like the Rolex store in the Wynn was open, but they had so few watches out. Maybe 10% what they normally do, and some of the stores. Like, I think it might have been Louis Vuitton at the Wynn, where they had these sliding doors and they were only like 2 feet apart. So you had to like squeeze your way into the store if you wanted to go there. So I think that they were ready to shut the doors and lock them on short notice.
And
that too.
In Las Vegas, now correct me if I'm wrong, in Las Vegas, didn't they put something out, didn't the police put something out saying you can't go to the Strip or downtown and have, correct me if I'm wrong, backpacks, suitcases, large purses, which I would totally be screwed because all of my purses are large purses, and other items. I can't remember the entire list, but I think I saw something about that. Do you know anything about it?
No, I mean, I heard that, so I deliberately tried to fit all my stuff in my pockets. Small purses seem to be perfectly fine. Water bottles are okay.
What about the women who don't own small purses? Just saying. I think my purse.
Yeah, I don't know how they define a large purse, but
you've seen my purses. You know exactly what I'm talking about too.
I didn't see security shaking anyone down. Generally speaking, you do have to pass a temperature check, and this is done all kinds of different ways. Like at the Wynn, you can actually have your temperature taken while you're walking. And I could see the person with the security monitor. They could see like images of everybody with their temperature right above their head. And I asked her, like, where do you draw the line? And she said at 102. But other places, like at the Palazzo, they bring a like a sensor that looks almost like a gun, and they put it. I don't think they need to touch you, but they put it right by your head. And I think they did that at Caesars too. But then again, at the Treasure Island, I just walked right in. So I don't think checking temperature is a requirement.
Okay. Now, with Las Vegas being 107, 109, where we're getting red flag heat warnings and everything, do you know of the secondary method that they use to check people's temperatures just in case they are over that 102-degree mark when they come in?
No, do you?
So what happens is, they do two phases. The first phase, you're coming in, they do the temperature check. If it's over the 100 degrees or 102, depending on the casino, they'll take you to a secondary area. It's like a holding area, and you're supposed to stay there for a certain amount of time. I can't remember the exact minutes. It's like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. And it's supposed to give you enough time to cool down, and then they check your temperature again. And if it's over 100 or 102, that's when they ask you to leave or they don't let you in. But if it's in the acceptable range, they'll allow you in.
Okay. I didn't know that, but that's a good idea.
Cool.
Okay. And not that you asked, another interesting thing is at the Bellagio, they have all these hand washing stations right in the middle of the casino.
That's cool. Were people using them?
You just see these, like a bathroom counter with sinks right there in the casino.
And were a lot of people using them? Did you use them? What did you think?
I thought it was a great idea. I totally give props to the Bellagio for doing this. I've never washed my hand in a casino that wasn't in a bathroom before. It was kind of weird. But yeah, you didn't need to touch any door handles or anything. And it was very convenient.
Did they have hand sanitizers all around?
You saw those in every casino all over the place.
Very cool. And did they give you a mask when you were going in? And did they require you to wear a mask?
The signage said that masks were recommended, but I think that only maybe 25% of people actually wore them.
Oh, wow. So 75% did not have a mask.
That's right.
But all the workers had a mask?
Yeah, 100% of the workers did.
Okay. How did you feel as a patron going in there, as a guest going in there?
Everyone was super nice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought everyone was just falling all over themselves, trying to be welcoming.
That's good.
I mean, I think that the workers are happy to have their jobs back. And so I think it's a great time to go if you don't mind taking the small chance of getting sick. Prices are really low. People are really friendly, not much traffic, free parking.
Oh, good. All of them are free parking?
I believe so.
Oh, that's good.
Treasure Island has always been free parking. And for us locals, it's really convenient if you are getting there from the 15. It's so easy to get from the freeway to their parking garage and back. So I've always loved parking at the Treasure Island. And they're still free. And another thing is, the restaurants had signage that you could make a reservation online, and they made it sound like it was going to be difficult to get a seat. But I walked right into a restaurant with my friend, and we were seated immediately. And
they're probably happy to have customers.
So,
was it a good meal? Did you enjoy yourself?
It was more like it was called Vanderpumps or something like that at Caesar's Palace. It was more like a cocktail bar that had a limited food menu. Okay. But it was a nice place. The service was great. Every interaction I had was so nice yesterday. People were just, like I said, falling all over themselves, trying to be helpful.
How many casinos total did you go into yesterday?
Okay, so there's the Wynn, Palazzo, Venetian, Flamingo, Bellagio, and did I say Treasure Island yet? No, so 6.
Okay, that's a lot of casinos. And on the strip,
and Casino Royale, so 7.
And Casino Royale.
Mm-hmm.
And on the strip, what casinos did you notice were closed?
I know for sure that Harrah's was closed, but I think they're opening today. And I didn't try to go in, but I was right there at that corner where Bally's is. So I can confidently say that Bally's was closed, and I know for sure the Mirage was closed.
Okay. And then have you heard anything about any of the other casinos being open or closed?
I think the Boyd and the Station casinos have opened up everything.
Stations
Sure.
hasn't. I can actually confirm Stations as Stations is opening partially, so they're not open all of their casinos. They're only opening some of their casinos. For example, Texas Station, Fiesta, both Fiestas are not opening.
I did not know that. I do know for sure that the Red Rock and
Red Rock.
Alice Station are open.
Yes.
And I know that the Suncoast is open, and I saw from a sign that the Rampart was open. And downtown, I think that the Boyd proper, I think the California, the Fremont, the D, the Golden Nugget, and El Cortez are open.
Okay.
And that's not to say the others aren't, but I'm just not sure.
I'm a little surprised that the El Cortez is open, because didn't they take some damage last weekend?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I was out of town
Ooh.
half the time since the last show, but
Where'd you go?
I went to the LA area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was there during the Santa Monica and the Long Beach riots.
Oh, wow.
And I actually, 2 days after the riots, I rode my bike down to downtown Long Beach that got hit the worst. And it was all blockaded off by soldiers carrying machine guns. But pedestrians and bikers passed. But I was really pleasantly surprised by how clean it all was. I mean, they said on the news that volunteers came the next day to help clean up, and they did a great job. I have never seen downtown Long Beach look so clean. Like any graffiti was painted over, and there was not a piece of broken glass or trash anywhere to be seen.
Wow.
It was very sanitized and safe.
Wow. Interesting. Now, Jeff in the comments, going back to Las Vegas and Las Vegas opening, he is asking about the Aria. Do you know if the Aria opened, how they're doing, what's going on with the Aria?
Pretty sure they're still closed.
They're closed?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. And that's an MGM property, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Cool. So going through here, we have a couple questions. Unless there's something else you want to talk about with Las Vegas opening.
Yeah, we can take questions about anything.
Okay. Well, in that case, Fun and Games asked, what is your favorite casino to gamble at, Mike?
If price is not an object, I like the Wynn. And if you're looking if you're of more of a modest budget, I really like the South Point.
Okay, cool. And how about, do you have any casinos you like to go to just to have fun at?
I almost never go to a casino to just have fun by myself. Usually if I go, there's either a business reason to go or I'm with a friend and they want to gamble. But let's say that a friend came from out of town and said, Mike, let's go gambling. You pick the place. I would probably try to talk them into staying where I live in Summerlin, in which case I would probably choose to go to the Red Rock.
Okay, cool.
But on the Wynn, like I said, I like the Wynn. I like the Cromwell. Let me think. Mirage is pretty good.
Cool.
But, the longer I've been doing this, the more every casino starts to seem the same.
Now, going back to the topic,
Mm-hmm.
When Las Vegas opened, the Bellagio sort of celebrated with their fountains. They had a fountain show. Were you there to see the fountain show?
When I walked into it, maybe I was in between shows, but it wasn't going.
Oh, okay. Now, did you hear what I heard? I guess a family of ducks or geese or something had moved in and was very happy the lake had been still the last couple weeks, and they were very, very unpleasantly surprised when the fountain show started today.
I did not hear that. That's a story.
So, did you go to the Miracle? You didn't go to Planet Hollywood, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering how the shops were on there as well, because I know.
Probably closed.
So you're planning on going, you said, to downtown tomorrow?
Probably sometime this weekend.
Okay. And what are you looking for? Are you going to play games? Like, what are you planning on doing?
I'll probably just check it out, see if there's any good promotions going on. Just get a general feel of the place. Give me something to talk about on next week's show.
Okay. And did you notice that the construction was still going on over at Circa? Or, yeah.
Didn't go there.
No? Okay. Cool. So our next question, do you like electric cars? And if so, what brands do you like?
I don't think I've ever actually been in an electric car that I know of. As a bicyclist, I kind of don't like them because they're so quiet. And lots of times, if I'm making a turn, I have to go on sound, especially on a unicycle. So I'm listening for I'm using my ears as my eyes. So if a car doesn't make enough noise, it can be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, otherwise I really don't have any strong opinions about electric cars.
Okay. And our next one is from Jeff, and he says, how were those plexiglass separators on the craps tables?
Okay, yeah, I was hoping someone would ask. So the plexiglass separators appear to be optional. You saw a lot of them. I think every table had them at the Bellagio. Mm-hmm. About half of them had them at the Wynn. But at some casinos, like the Treasure Island and I think Caesars, had none of them. And the way it works in craps, okay, at the Wynn, their craps tables did not have separators, but in the rails where you put your chips, every other position was like blocked off, like they put something where you would normally put your chips. And
so it wasn't a plastic divider?
Nope.
Okay.
But the way they maintained the 3 people per side rule, like I said, was blocking off certain places where people might put their chips. And they said that the 3 people per side was a strict rule. Like you could have had 4 people that said, we all are relatives and live in the same house. And they, no, 3 is the rule. One person could have stood on the other side, I guess. But they did say that you didn't have to separate on that side. Like if you had a couple and one single person, the couple could play right next to each other. But the way it worked at the Bellagio, I didn't play, but each side was broken into 3 sections. So there were only 3 places you could stand to actually play.
Okay. So did they only have say 3 chairs there as well? So that way people couldn't sit down more. And also, did you notice that they kept social distancing? Did you notice they were keeping people apart? Okay.
So blackjack size tables strictly had 3 chairs at a table. And as for social distancing, there were signs everywhere saying that they recommend it and that they promote it and blah, blah, blah. But despite all that signage, even with it not being very crowded, people walk every which way in casinos and you're going to get close to other people. It can't be avoided. And it just, like I said, most people chose to not wear masks. So I think that people's behavior in terms of the way they were grouping together didn't seem much different.
Did you notice a lot of employees wiping down slot machines or tables or doing cleaning procedures?
I did, yeah. You saw a lot of that.
Cool. And then we have a question from a viewer as well. What about poker? Did you notice anything about the poker rooms?
I didn't see a single poker room open.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about this with somebody before the show, and he gave me a list of places that had open poker rooms. And I know one of them was the South Point. That's all I can remember. But I'm pretty sure the rule is a maximum of 4 people at a poker table. But yeah, that's all I can say. Didn't actually see any open. Like the Venetian poker room was completely empty.
It was open, but it was empty.
Yeah, you could have walked in, I guess. And
Okay.
I saw a few employees like wandering around in there, but yeah, there was not a single game open.
Okay. And then the next question is a good one. So out of all the casinos that you went to, all 6 casinos, what did you notice the casinos doing as far as cleaning the chips or cleaning the dice?
When I was at the Wynn, I asked them about the dice, and they said that every time there was a new shooter, they would be presenting them with 5 clean dice. And I don't know how they clean them. And with the chips, when I played Pai Gow, it just seemed like it always did. Like they just gave me chips out of the rack, and
They didn't clean them?
they have some way of cleaning them. I'm not sure what it is.
I know that I saw, so if you go on Twitter, there's a post on there. One of the people who are working at the casinos showed the process of the casino actually cleaning the chips. I retweeted it. And they had all the chips laid out on these tables. It was table after table after table of just the chips. And they were spraying them with a disinfectant. And then they would turn them over and spray them with a disinfectant. And I know that that's one of the way they were cleaning the chips, but from what I've heard, I thought they were supposed to clean the chips individually after each player touched it.
They didn't do that when I played.
Okay.
Chips just went right back in the rack, as I recall.
Did you notice it at other casinos as you were walking by? If, say, for example, they had a second dealer at the table and the second dealer was the one cleaning the chips or cleaning the shoe or whatever?
I didn't see that at all.
Okay. So next question is also from a viewer. So does this mean that you can no longer kiss the dice? Is that out of the question?
I didn't ask, but you can touch the dice.
I could tell you right now, you weren't allowed to kiss the dice before.
That I didn't know. I've never wanted to try.
Didn't?
Yeah.
Because if you put it up to your mouth, you can, there's ways of sleight of hand where you can change the dice, or you can snip dice, or you can switch off dice. So they don't want you to lift the dice over the table, which means blowing the dice, kissing the dice, anything like that.
Yeah, people could hide fake dice in their mouth.
Yep, exactly. And people have. So the next question is, did you notice workers wearing gloves, especially dealers?
I didn't specifically check for that, but I don't think that the dealers wore gloves. But as I think about it, the employees at the temperature check places did wear gloves.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have paid more attention to that, but that's just going off memory.
Okay.
It's time for the musical interlude.
Sounds awesome.
Let's see who can be the first to guess this tune.
Oh, fun. Okay, I'm watching the comments, ready for you guys.
Okay. Wait. I get my glasses. Any guesses?
Very cool. I have no idea, but if you guys are watching and you know what that tune was, put it in the comments and we will see who gets the answer first. We have our very first guess, and I love this one. Was it Metallica, For Whom the Bells Tolls? I love that guess.
But I'm afraid not.
Darn. I love that. That's an awesome guess. How about Sweet Home in the Valley?
That's close.
Ooh.
I will say that Valley is in the title, but it's not that.
So Valley's in the title, but it is not that. Okay, so if you guys know what that tune was, put it in the comments. Are you having fun learning that?
It was so easy. Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun to get back into a musical instrument, but these melodicas are really quite easy to play. But yeah.
You need to know how to play at least a piano or a keyboard, right, in order to play that? Yeah, okay.
Piano too.
Okay. And then how about Red River Valley? Is that the name of it?
Congratulations.
Woo!
Is Red River Valley.
Yay! Nice.
Yay! Good job, Mo the Cat.
Mo the Cat. Very nice. Oh, cool.
Okay, Mo the Cat, if you're ever in Vegas, I owe you a beer. Or a copy of my book, but you have to come to Vegas to collect it.
Sounds fair enough.
Okay. Let's see, any more questions?
If you guys have any questions about Las Vegas opening, anything going on, go ahead, put it in the comments. We will ask it. Let's see.
And you can ask questions to Heather too.
We had a couple questions to me, which, by the way, thank you very US Paper. I really do appreciate what you said earlier in the comments. I just wanted to do more questions for you. So we have a question. Do things like COVID make a big difference in the Social Security solvency?
To be honest, I think it'll make it more solvent.
Yeah?
Because the people who are dying from it are mostly people that are old and or disabled already. And I know this is going to sound terribly morbid, but it's probably taking people early that otherwise would have consumed Social Security benefits longer. Same thing with cigarettes. I'm against cigarette taxes. As much as I hate it, smoking in public places, I think that people smoking saves the government money because they don't live as long, and thus are not collecting Social Security retirement benefits for as much time. So long term, I know this is going to sound terribly morbid, but economically, it might actually be a good thing, because it really is a drag on the economy when people retire and then live 30 more years collecting free retirement and medical benefits. It's a huge drag. So not to get political, but I'm a big proponent of increasing the retirement age. But of course, short term, it's with like, what's the unemployment rate now? Like 25%. That's huge. So I don't mean to minimize the short-term effect, which is huge, but yeah. But to summarize, I think that long-term, this is going to be good for Social Security.
Okay. So our next question is, do you think casinos will be increasing the return of rewards and coupons? And that is from Dave.
I certainly hope so. I have been keeping my eye out for casinos here in Vegas doing coronavirus promotions. Haven't seen anything like that yet. But yeah, let's wait and see. I think right now the casinos are just concentrating on just opening it all. And I think promotions and things like that take a back seat at this early point.
Okay. So the next one, we have a thank you. he just wants to say thank you really quick to you, Mike, because you changed his dice game. Now I am able to play for hours and most likely break even and earn comps. Thank you so much for your videos and explaining the math.
You are very welcome, and that's what I'm here for, and it makes my day to hear comments like that.
Yay! So our next question is from Jason. Any idea when the shows will return?
Yeah, I know that there's these phases here in Nevada, and I bet shows opening are going to be in the last phase. And I have not even seen any advertising for them. I bet when they do open, they probably will only be, let's say, 50% capacity. And the people that run these shows might come to the conclusion that they would lose money on a show if they could only sell half the tickets.
Yeah.
But who knows? But lots of things in Vegas they run a loss on just to get people through the doors.
Yeah, so, but they're probably concerned about their own employees too, because with that kind of a production, there's so many people involved. It's not just the actors, it's backstage people, the grips, people. I mean, there's so many people involved every night, every day. And to have those people in a closed area like that when COVID's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. And not that this is kind of unrelated, but with the restaurants, the one I ate at, they discouraged physical menus, and they had you scan one of those, what are they called, a QR code, and then the menu popped up on your phone.
Oh, wow. Don't you have to have a QR app for that?
No, I still don't really know how to read that, but the waitress pressed something on my phone and it read it, and then boom, the menu was on my phone.
Well, that's pretty cool how that works.
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how she did it. I still don't know what to do.
So US Paper, do me a favor, ask your question again, but actually do it as one question. I see you've wrote a lot, so I'm not exactly sure which question you're talking about. Do me a favor and just write it out real quick, and we'll ask Mike that. I think we got a trigonometry question for you, so we'll see. So the next question is, as an actuarial, have you personally calculated the best age for yourself to take Social Security, or are the variables just too many?
That is a great question, and I have done this, and the answer, of course, it's going to depend upon your own health, but for the average person, you should apply at the full retirement age, which right now is gradually increasing. I think it's 66 right now, but you should not take early retirement, because that will, in the long run, you'll get less money unless you're in really bad health and don't expect it to make it to what the break-even age, I believe, is 67. And so if you, no, not 67, 77. Yeah. So if you expect to make it past 77, you should apply at the full retirement age. And if you don't, then you should apply early. But then you might ask, what about delayed retirement credits? And the way Social Security works is you get your full amount, no more and no less, if you apply at your full retirement age, which has been creeping up gradually.
What is it right now?
Beyond that, then you get rewarded with what are called delayed retirement credits. And I'm going to answer this question properly next week's show, but I believe that by now you get an extra 8% for every year you delay. And 8% is just about actuarially fair. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a good question. I really should have had a good answer to that off the top of my head. But both the delayed retirement credits and the retirement age have been increasing. So you have to recalculate it every year. But Yeah, I'm going to update myself after the show with what the formula is right now, and I will give you a proper answer next week.
Very cool. Looking
And by
forward.
the way, actuarial is an adjective. The noun form is just actuary.
Okay, so you would just say as an actuary. Okay, cool. So, by the way, the QR apps do come with most phones, and they are free. So that's good to know. I did not know that. Now we got a puzzle for you. Let's see if you like this. You have 12 poker chips, and one of them is a fake. The fake chip has a different weight and can weigh less or more than the other real poker chips. Using a traditional balanced scale, how can you find the fake poker chip every time using the scale only 3 times?
I know I've heard this before. Let's see. So if you put 4 and 4 and one side goes down, then you'll know that the fake one is at least one of those 8. And you'll know that if it's heavy, it went on the downside, and if it's light, it went on the upside. Yeah, I don't know the answer to this off the top of my head, but and I don't want to slow down the show by solving it right now. But that's a good question, and I think that I will make this a question in my next Ask the Wizard column.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so we got another question, which, by the way, we have 9 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions, please put it in the comments. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Ed Junk says on an iPhone, you can just open the camera app and scan it. I did not know that. I am old. I did not know that about the phone. Did you know that about the phone?
Here's here's my phone.
Uh-huh.
And when the waitress did this, I don't think she pressed the camera app, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think I could do it on my phone. Pretty sure.
Yeah, this, by the way, was the thing that well, you can see that I took a picture of it. I don't know. I'll have to ask one of my kids. They're more technical.
I know. I feel like I should know this, and then I just feel old.
Yeah.
So going back to Las Vegas Boulevard, how was the tone down there? Were people happy? Were they excited to be back? Or were people cautious, scared, like worried? Like, how was the tone between the players and the workers?
I think the tone of the players were they were in a good mood, and I think it was the kind of good mood you might be in that if you were, cooped up in your house for a long time and just happy to get out. I think there was a lot of just, generally just walking around and maybe not actually making any financial transactions. And as I said earlier in the show, the employees were really friendly and helpful. So I think it's a good time to get out and come to Vegas if you're, of course there's a risk in anything you might do, but if that doesn't bother you, I think it's a great time to come here.
Okay. And we got Benny Mancino here. Hey, Benny. And he says, how long are we keeping this beard?
Yeah, I addressed this earlier, but I am keeping it until things are back to normal. And I'm defining back to normal as when masks are no longer ever required. And even then, I might not get rid of it.
Now, I heard wearing a mask with a beard was really hard. No, you haven't noticed that? Okay.
Yeah.
So our next question.
Beard might be a problem.
What is?
I guess with a big beard, I could see it being a problem, but this isn't the big one.
Are you going to grow it to be bushy?
We're just going to wait and see. I am just playing it by ear.
Okay. So our next question is from Mo the Cat. What are your thoughts about Bill Benter, math wizard who won $1 billion at Hong Kong horse racing?
Yeah, I saw something about him, I think, on 60 Minutes, and I just don't know enough about it to have a good comment, to be honest with you.
Okay. In that case, let's move on. And Benny made a comment. First time all the dealers at once are not suffering all from burnout.
So I hope no one will mind me saying that Benny runs a casino. So Benny, if you have any answers to questions that have been asked, feel free to jump in. Like, how are they cleaning the chips, for example?
Cool. So hopefully we'll hear from Benny about that. We have another question from Jason, and he says, what are the current odds on a Trump re-election? Because I think you were following that on the previous live streams, right?
Yeah, no, the odds have changed quite a bit. Right now, Biden is a small favorite. For example, at 5 dimes, you can get Trump at even money and lay minus 120 on Biden. Whereas just 2 weeks ago, Trump you had to lay minus 125. So yeah, a really big change in a short period of time. And without getting political, this is just talking about making a bet, not talking about how I vote. I just bet another $5,000 on Trump today. And this is in addition to thousands that I already have bet. And I'm not going to say comments why, but I think that Trump is a good value. And we'll see if I'm right in November.
Okay. So Benny made a comment. Electrostatic Mister at game, UV cabinet in cage. So that is how they are cleaning it.
Okay. How does the electrostatic mister work? Does anyone know? I didn't see anyone misting chips when I was at the Wynn.
No. Is it a mister? I would just imagine you put the chips in, they clean it, they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Probably spraying and wiping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got a couple minutes left. If you guys have any questions, any comments, please put them in the chat. Mike, when is the next time we're going to see you?
How about in a week? Or wait, today's Friday, so why don't we go back to our normal time, Thursday at 3?
Sounds good. Thursdays at 3 are pretty good. I like that. So again, if you have any questions, please.
Yep, last call for questions.
And are you planning on doing anything fun this weekend now that Las Vegas is officially open?
Yeah, I'm planning to go downtown this weekend, and I want to hit the local casinos here in Summerlin. And I'm hoping to do some mountain climbing in Colorado in July, and I need to start getting in proper hiking shape for that. So it would be nice if I could summit Mount Charleston by the end of June. And so that would probably take 3 training trips to get to that point. So
are those all-day trips?
Yeah, what I want to do is they're called the 14ers. Is the United States, the lower 48 states, has so many mountains that are over 14,000 feet, but none that are over 15,000. And most of the 14ers are in Colorado. They have about 30 of them there. And I've only done one of them so far, but I'd like to go there in July and climb several of them. And these are all-day hikes involving 5,000 feet of elevation change.
Yeah, but isn't that just beautiful?
Yes.
I bet that's pure heaven.
To get out of here. I have not. Well, I just went to Long Beach to visit my mother, but I do that so often it doesn't really feel like a big trip. So yeah, I am itchy to go somewhere.
Cool. So we have a couple questions before we end this live stream. When do you think things are going to be back to normal, like actual normal?
My opinion on this is no better than the next guys. Mm-hmm. But I think things are not going to be totally back to normal until we find a vaccine. And who knows, maybe we never will. We haven't found a vaccine to AIDS yet. So
I was watching a video the other day that said for a normal vaccine, it could take anywhere between 10 and 15 years. The reason why they don't think this vaccine is going to take that long is because we've already begun the research with SARS, and we're going to be using pretty much the same stuff that we found out with SARS for this vaccine. And that's why they're expecting it to be about a year or two.
Yeah, they keep saying on the news, like they've been making promising steps. And I think that's one of the things that's driving up the stock market right now. But I don't know enough about epidemiology to give a good comment on it.
Okay. So we got another one. This one is a nice, fun, easy one. Ed Junk. Mike, Heather, how do you guys like doing questions apart versus being together in the studio?
Well, speaking only for myself, I prefer to be in the studio together.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun seeing you every week and everything. And yeah, that was enjoyable.
Yeah. Okay. Well, should we let that be the last question?
Yeah, that sounds good. Before we end it, I just want to say hi, Domestic. Okay, sorry, I had to give a shout out to Domestic. Do you want to give any shout outs or anything? Facebook, Twitter?
Let's see. I think the only person here that I know that I've met is Benny. So
and Mills is here too, by the way. Mills. Hi, Mills.
I don't remember who Mills is. Should
I thought we knew Mills together. Sorry.
Maybe you can tell me after the show.
Okay, sounds good.
Privacy.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks everyone for coming. And thanks, Heather, for arranging this, as always.
My pleasure. It's always fun to see you.
Okay, so 3:00 Thursday next week.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks,
Bye.
audience. Okay, bye, audience.